Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
Welcome.
sharing your time with us.
You're welcome,
Without
madam.
any further ado, we'll be going right straight to our next speaker, which is the person of Mrs. Oyindamola Sonola. But before she comes online to train, I'll be going through her profile briefly. Oyindamola Sonola is an education consultant, a trainer, a mentor, an advocate with proven track records of developing innovative approaches to education. And as the CEO of SWAMS, Creative Education and Consultancy, she has led high impact projects, including Lagos Eco Project and Cambridge and the Deepen Project. And she has also worked with organizations such as UNICEF. Now, some of her key achievements, when I was going through it, I was just smiling. Beautiful. Some of our key achievements is that she's a member of the board in Christ Redeemer's Management School and Incubator. Now, she is the first Nigerian. She was the first Nigerian endorsed HighScope trainer and recognized as the HighScope Hero in 2020 for remarkable impact in training HighScope in a research-validated education approach that is culturally relevant and supports sustainability in education. Her social contribution, she has written a lot of journals, and one of the journals, a journal for sustainable education advocate, which is fast gaining ground for educating and empowering towards sustainable innovation and lifestyle. In mentorship, she's an experienced mentor, a coach, and learning support practitioner, guiding educators, learners, and organizations in the best practice in sustainable education. Currently mentors schools online on sustainable education and practice. Under her professional experience, she is school consultancy, training, parenting workshop, student learning support service. She's also into recruiting service. She's also in school crisis management and administration on behalf of the proprietress. She has developed innovative approach to education and led high impact projects. Under her educational qualification, she has a master's in guidance and counseling. She is certified as HighScope endorsed trainer. She is certified as a core consulting. She is certified in Montessori. She is certified in women in digital business and numerous other certifications ranging from national and international. Some of her awards, she received the award of She Award for Women Impact in Education in 2024. She also received the award for Sustainable Development in 2022. She also received the award of the HighScope Hero 2020. And also she received an award in ESDOMEP Award, World Commendation for Special Achievement in Education for Sustainable Development in 2022. So without any further ado, please let's welcome Mrs. Sonon Oyindamola. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much. Such a rich profile. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Dr. Adidamola, for inviting me. And it's a pleasure to be here and excited to share a bit about HighScope. I'll go straight to the slide. I just want to say from the beginning that there is always a level of similarity for every high quality early childhood practice. So it's possible that you would begin to hear some things that are a bit similar in some areas. And the first slide you will see there that I put the HighScope difference, empowering young learners with future-ready skills through active learning. HighScope is a research-based educational philosophy, and it inspires educators to inspire children through active participatory teaching and learning. Below on that same slide, you will see the logo that shows the 3 levels of evidence-based strategies. We have the scissors, which has to do with the research area. HighScope is a research validated approach, and the scissor signifies the approach that HighScope has gone through, this research. The paper signifies the application. HighScope is early a practical application pedagogy, and the scissors, which is a validation. Let's go to the next slide. And that has to do with the principles of quality early childhood education. HighScope practice happens to be one approach that has been verified and validated by a number of organizations, like the EYFS that many of us are familiar with. And then there are some key things that I would like us to take note. And I'd like you to compare that with your setting as I go on. Because as an HighScope practitioner, we're used to running our workshop in reflective ways to get our participants thinking. And that is the way we work with the young children too. And one of it is that assess your curriculum. Is it thoughtfully planned? Is it challenging? Is it engaging? Is it developmentally appropriate? Is it culturally and linguistically responsive? Is it comprehensive across all developmental domains? And is it likely to promote positive outcomes for young children? This is what the Council for Education for Early Childhood has been able to prove as the pedagogy and the approach that can be qualified as a quality early childhood curriculum. So when you check your curriculum and any part is missing, you need to work on it. The next slide, the HighScope is about HighScope philosophy and approach. In HighScope, we believe that children learn best through active participatory learning. That is learning by doing. We also believe that teachers and children are partners in the learning process. We believe that knowledge is constructed through interaction with people, materials, ideas, such that it ignites imagination, reflection, and problem solving. Curriculum follows a consistent daily routine, and it promotes autonomy, planning. And in the HighScope, the high point of the HighScope approach is a plan, do, review that we expose our children to from the nursery age. Children are able to plan for their play, where they want to work, what they want to work with, and they are able to review it at the end of the playtime. Our own playtime, we call it work time, because play is serious work for young children. Assessment is authentic and continuous based on observation. Our core child observation record has also been validated as one of those records that can be relied on, and it captures the child's growth and development. Our practice is child-focused, is a child-focused approach. And because I've been able to adapt the HighScope approach into the African context, and especially the sustainability practice is embedded, I'm able, HighScope focuses on the use of free and found materials. And we also focus on the low-cost recycled material in learning centers. This is where HighScope becomes very relevant, especially in times like this with the economic downturn. We emphasize outdoor and nature-based learning, which has to do with the gardens, composting, water cycle play. And we also place emphasis on social sustainability, which has to do with cooperation, problem solving, empathy, and community contribution. Let's move to the next slide very quickly. I want to share with you the HighScope view of childhood and teacher training. We believe our approach is strategic, and every system we bring in is backed up by evidence. We believe that every child is unique and their self-confidence needs to be enhanced by building on what they can do already. And this influences our teaching strategy. When we are teaching the children, we start from what they are able to do, and then we can build it up. HighScope views early childhood as a critical period of development where children are active learners. You will note I keep on saying active, because that is the core of the HighScope approach. Children should be encouraged to take care of their own needs and make choices. We focus on that, especially with the plan, do, review, which encourages independence. And we also believe that the power to learn resides in the child. The child is not born empty. Children learn through their own actions and interactions. And children and adults think differently. So we train our teachers to understand the way the children think and the way the adults think, so that they can appropriately plan their lessons to align with the thoughts of the child in mind. And children need to take care of their own needs and develop self-care skills. In our teacher training programs are experiential, they are skills-based, and they go beyond just the subject learning. This is why most practitioners that come into the HighScope training have to go through a period of research. They carry out research, they do reading assignments, they have small group discussions, and a lot of other things that will, and they watch videos where they analyze the learning setting. So this makes the learning very experiential for them. And teachers must acquire knowledge of child development and competences that can facilitate non-cognitive skills. HighScope is particular about the development of the non-cognitive skills. Next slide. And this slide is a very important one that shows the HighScope wheel. We call it the HighScope wheel. And it has the UK version at the outer edge. And this is a visual representation of the HighScope approach to early childhood education and how its elements work together to support a holistic, high quality, and inclusive learning experiences. The breakdown shows that the outer area, which is a tier for the HighScope UK, emphasizes the values and the standards guiding the implementation. And that is where you will see quality, inclusiveness, and reflective practice, the outer one. Now, in the center, you see the active learning and the what I call the KDIs, which I'm still going to refer to later on. In the inner circle, you see 4 core areas, and these are areas that are guiding the curriculum. We see the assessment, which has to be done through the teamwork, the daily anecdotes that are taken by the teachers, the daily planning, and child assessment. You also see in that other part, the adult-child interaction. The adults are trained in particular ways to understand how to enter children's play, how to be active participants in children's play and learning. They cannot stand aloof and just be observing the children. Teachers are also trained in the communication strategies, whereby they know how to ask open-ended questions and how to support children's learning. On the other side, you see the daily routine. And in our daily routine, we have the plan, do, review, which I've mentioned earlier, the small group time in which children come together in small groups and they are taught the key subject areas. And the teacher models some of the concepts to them, and then they do the activities themselves. And then we have the large group time when children go outdoors, they work together, they collaborate. And on the fourth angle is the learning environment, which is intentionally set up. We have the labeled areas, we have the materials, and they are properly labeled. HighScope encourages children to access the materials and to decide on how to work with the materials. The children have a choice as to how they work with the materials. So the outer part, as I mentioned, shows the extension, what guides this curriculum. And the family inclusion is very important, as we consider the family as a key partner in the teaching of the children. And parents are also trained to know the strategies to use at home to support their children. So as we are teaching the children in the school, we are teaching the parents too, so that they can better support their children. Next slide, please. We look at the HighScope teaching practices, which is the focus on the active learning, as you have seen in that wheel. Active learning, there are 5 ingredients of active learning, and you can check this when you are preparing your lesson. There is the material. Do you have the adequate and relevant materials for your children? Are they appropriate, developmentally appropriate and safe? Do you give your children opportunity to manipulate the materials? Do you give them a choice as to the way they are going to use the materials? Do you encourage child language? In other words, are they able to express themselves to describe what they are doing? And are the adults intentional in the way they scaffold the children's learning? When you check your lessons, when you prepare your lessons, when you teach, if the adult is the only one that is talking throughout a lesson, that is not an active learning class. Everyone should be involved. And in HighScope pedagogy, every moment is a teachable moment for children. They are learning life skills, they are learning communication, they are building their skills. There is a lot that is going on in all the areas of the daily routine that they pass through. So we don't wait until a particular time to teach the children life skills. They are being taught all around the daily routine. Then another strength of HighScope is a problem-solving approach to conflict, right from the nursery age. We encourage our children to solve conflicts. And then the observation and documentation are key. Go to the next slide. In the HighScope is validated by a number of organizations that I've said, NEYC, and then the STEAM and STEM and Reggio Emilia, they have collaborated with HighScope over the years. And we are able to produce even resources now in which we use the STEM 5 subjects and we incorporate it into the HighScope practice. Now, the slide you are seeing there is the evidence-based research, the peri-preschool research that goes to confirm that HighScope is an effective pedagogy. HighScope was set up based on the concern of David Werkert about the Black poor children in America who were rejects, who went into crime, who were having dysfunctional families. But with the HighScope strategy that was delivered to these children, by age 5, they were ready for school. These are children that would not want to go to school. By age 14, they were committed to school. By that age 14, they had developed basic achievement skills. And by the age of 27 years, when they followed up with these children, they noticed that these children were in high-income jobs, children that normally would have dropped out of school. And they had less cases of arrest. Let's go to the next slide. And now they went further to find out what could have caused this. And this had to do beyond just the ordinary IQ that schools focus on. It has to do with the development of the non-cognitive skills and the social skills. So HighScope has strategies that we adopt to intentionally support these children's social, emotional, and creative development. Next slide. Remember I mentioned about the KDIs. The KDIs are, that's the key developmental indicator. And it's a set of observable behaviors that define important learning areas for young children. And they can be considered as components of the HighScope curriculum framework. In that KDI, we have 58 KDIs, but they are organized into 8 content areas. Number 1 is approaches to learning. Number 2 is social and emotional development. Number 3 is physical development and health. Number 4 is language, literacy, and communication. Number 5 is mathematics. Number 6 is creative arts. Number 7 is science and technology. And number 8 is social studies. So these are the subject areas, but then they have been divided into 58 subsections where the teachers can observe, next slide please, where the teachers can observe the children's progress through the KDIs. The children's progress is observed. It informs the instruction, the planning of your lesson concerning your children. Do you need to repeat a concept with them? Do you need to expose them to a particular skill? It also supports individualized learning, whereby you know those children that would need more attention. So we recognize the value of play in supporting children's learning. Next slide, please. The HighScope, another strength of HighScope is the fact that for all our areas of learning, we have resources. HighScope has variety of CDs, books to teach emotional development, to support mathematics, to support literacy. And this is where we even have the one that has to do with the STEM, where we have collaborated with the STEM. So we have a wide variety of resources to support our teachers and our children. The next slide, finally. Now, having gone through this process, you will notice that I have talked about the teaching strategies, the planning of the learning environment is critical to us, the use of free and found materials, the fact that the teachers have to be highly trained, continuous development is key to us. I would just like to I ask that even as I'm rounding up, I want you to assess your own program with reference to the elements of quality, which I started with on my slide 2. Do you have highly qualified teachers? Is the curriculum developmentally appropriate? Are there appropriate resources? Then identify the elements you currently have in your school and decide what elements of quality you hope to be able to develop or add. In summary, HighScope operationalizes active learning for early years through up through to adulthood. That's the beauty, because active learning is used from early years all through to adult learning. And that is what we use in our workshops most of the time. Passive teaching limits curiosity, critical thinking, and self-direction. Future-ready skills require active engagement of learners. It requires collaboration, problem solving, and continuous reflection, and which is another key in HighScope practice. We are continuously reflecting, and that is where the research and the validation practice come into play. We are continuously looking at, is this working? What can be added? What has to be removed? Active learning increases motivation, retention, and transfer. Programs connected to children's contexts and life experiences are developed while they construct knowledge through direct experiences. And this is why we do a lot of project-based learning. We do a lot of field trips. We do a lot of small group and large group activities. Play and purposeful activity are central to development. Teachers are partners and researchers. They are the scaffolders, they are the observers, they are the co-planners. And learning is essential, observable, and accessible. So, regardless of the curriculum we use, play is important to us. If you look at that last slide, you will see a few pictures where I have set up some materials, some games for even the adult learner to play with, but to develop particular concepts through those games. So we also focus on game-based learning. HighScope is delivered at all levels of education and in subject areas. We have the HighScope focused training for infant, toddler, for creches, for preschool, for the elementary, for secondary, for teenagers, and we do the family support, community service, and the special needs with leadership and management training. Finally, I want us to remember 10% of what we read. We remember 10% of what we read. We remember, it's only 20% that we remember of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 70% of what we say, and 90% of what we see, say, and do. The implication, the person who is doing the most seeing and talking is doing the most learning. So let's get to learners, whatever their ages, visualizing, imagining, reflecting, doing, and talking. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so, so much, Mrs. Sonola. Please, thank you so much, ma. I must confess that this is the first time I'm hearing about the HighScope approach, and I was actually looking forward to it because I wanted to know the differences you get. But I thank God you were able to like open our eyes to some things, and these are actually my take home, where you said that HighScope focuses on both everything the child does, what the child sees, what the child feels, both planned and unplanned. that curriculums are supposed to be checked if they are thoughtfully planned, if they are challenging, if they're engaging, if they are developmentally appropriate, if the development, what's it called, the development cuts across all domains, and if it promotes positive outcome. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. And without further ado, we'll be bringing in the third, which is actually the last speaker for tonight, which is in the person of Dr. Adedamola Olofa. And before he comes online,